Hello, everybody, and welcome to iHLS Innotech International Conference. In this segment, we'll talk about Homeland security and smart cities. We have a very distinguished panel here as usual. Please introduce yourselves by way of sitting. We'll start with you, Perry.
Thank you. Perry Novotny, I'm a legal advisor engaged in legal aspects of security.
Sharon.
Brigadier General Sharon. I used to be the C4I Commander School, and I am the chairperson of iHLS in this committee.
Great. Guy.
I'm Guy Elad, the Deputy CIO in Tel-Aviv-Yafo Municipality.
And Oren.
Hi, I'm Dr. Oren Eytan. I'm the co-founder and CEO of ODIX, a cybersecurity company. I'm a retired colonel from the IDF. I was the head of the cybersecurity unit.
Great. So we'll keep it on a first-name basis with your permission from now on. Guy, you're from Tel Aviv. You work for Tel Aviv, the largest metropolitan area of Israel. Is Tel Aviv a smart city?
When we speak about smart city, it's too complicated word. But first of all, when I think about the smart city, if it's smart or no, I see about how we took and improved the services to the residents. Usually we do the e-services, the regular services to pay the bills and everything. And now we are trying to take it step ahead and give a tailor-made services to the residents and to be proactive, to give added value to the residents. And I will give an example. If I know that you are living, I know your name, I know where you're living, I know that you are married, and you have 2 children and their ages, and you tell me about your hobbies. So I can send you proactively services that you need. If I know in your community center, in your neighborhood, there's an activity for a child in your child's age, so I will send you proactively and offer you to join us to the activity. That's the first level. The second one is how to manage the city smartly. There we're thinking how to give the managers tools to manage the city smartly. For example, we developed in our ITC division a real-time system that's unique to Tel Aviv, that takes information from 3 kind of sources. The first one is the IoTs that spread all over the city. The second one is the residents that call to the call center or report by the application. And the third one is the municipality workers. All the 3 kind of sources get into a system, a GIS system, and every manager can see what's the situation in a real time in his division in the city. The second thing is the innovation, how the city insert innovation to the municipality. The first thing is a new technology. Now we are inserting artificial intelligence in our city. The second thing is to do collaboration with startups. We do it a lot. 2 years ago, we developed Citizen, which is a lab for smart city challenges in Atidim Park. Citizen is half belong to Tel Aviv Municipality and half to Tel Aviv University. And it's a lab for startups to try the new products and technology. And the third thing is the hackathons.
Yeah.
It's
well,
important.
we'll get to that. You know quite a lot about the people of Tel Aviv. I want to ask you, Oren, what makes a city a smart city?
So I think first of all is the technology. And that's one of the root cause for some of the problem if we are looking at the standpoint of cybersecurity. But for smart cities, I categorize it as 2 aspects to look at. One of them is the security and of the technology and the infrastructure, since it involves a lot of technology. And the other thing is privacy. As Guy just said, I have all your details here, someone need to keep them, someone need to maybe regulate them. I think this will be addressed by my friend here. But as far as the technology, smart cities exhibit also a new zone for hackers and cyber attacks, as we see now during the COVID-19, that the COVID-19 on one hand accelerates a lot of good processes like work from home, and that, you know, public no longer coming to the offices and so on. But on the other hand, it exposed to a lot of threats from hackers that take advantage of this. So a lot of cyber issues in here.
And we'll elaborate on this as well. Perry, obviously a lot of information, data. In China, they just you know, take pictures of everything and everybody. Everything is you know, in the hands of the government. How do you fight this? Can you regulate this?
That's a great question, Yaakov. I think that we need to start with a definition. You guys call it a smart city, I call it data city. It's not about the technology, it's about the data. And this is where lawyers become concerned. We have an issue with privacy. We had hackers hack into the Pentagon, hack other very secure sites, and we need to be very careful.
And even before that, do we want the city to know so much about each and every one of us?
That is exactly the question. It's a question of consent. It's a question of authority. It's a legal question, but it relies on moral standards. It relies on ethical standards. And basically, this is a whole new frontier that we're going into, and we need to do so very, very carefully. Because it's not only Big Brother, it's the small brothers. Everything today is being outsourced, and I'm very concerned that the commercial entity giving the Tel Aviv municipality the services might want to capitalize on this data.
Right. So, Sharon, talk to me about the concept of safe city.
So, as my friends mentioned before, the future is present, double meaning. And we must be aware to the cost of freedom in the new ecosystem. And I think that in order to be smart cities, we must keep the smart cities safe. And we must make good regulations and process in order to keep or to balance the technology with the data. Mm-hmm. And to make this balance, we have to add a lot of process to the technologies.
Yeah, well, obviously there are some advantages to smart cities, but Oren, what are the tools to keep this operation safer?
So, well, it's really a big effort, because if you look at smart cities in the wide context of it, it involves a lot of sensors. It's a lot of either cameras, a lot of sensors, a lot of infrastructure that is spread all over, gather a lot of data all the time, and it's tons of data, and all this data is transmitted all over the air. So you need to protect all the channels that data is moving. Then you need to protect all your data center. It involves a lot of data centers that process the data. And, you know, it's a question. You look at, for example, from privacy issues, where the GDPR, which is the European standard for privacy, so they distinguish between, you know, if you process the data or you store the data. So it's a different approach, whether you just process the data or store the data. And all these issues needs to be taken into account when you protect the systems. There are some cyber tools that are already available. Like Tel Aviv is one of our customers that already deployed this solution in order to protect their infrastructure.
But as Perry mentioned, there are subcontractors and more companies involved, and who knows who. How do you control this?
Well, you need to have a very high-level view of what you have and the infrastructure, all the subcontractors, all the connector, you need to control the access of all these subcontractors. A lot of the attacks all over the world, if you look at the famous attack on Target store in the United States, it was initiated by the subcontractor. They're using the air condition. So you need to protect all the channels. The data is coming in. You need to then to sanitize or to remove malware or to be able to control all this data in order to prevent any kind of attacks. It's a big process. It involves design and plan of, from stage one. So I strongly recommend not to develop the smart city and then think about the cyber threats and attacks.
Right. Perry, why I suspect that, regulation will come too late, as usual, after, the horses left the barn, and here we are.
That's always the case. Law always follows technology and not the other way around. You don't enact laws for technology that doesn't exist. And this is why we have to be very smart and very careful. And my colleagues talk about how to protect the information. When I try to provide how privacy should work, it should work by privacy by design. We need to take into consideration why we're collecting the data, what it is that we'd like to do with it, who is going to have access to it, how long it's going to be stored. So way before we collect it, we need to think if we even need it in the system. And we even have to go so far as to get informed consent. This is another term in legal privacy. We need the people who the knowledge is about to give consent, knowing what the knowledge is going to be used for.
Guy, you hear this? It's coming. You need to have people sign and document.
The regulation is very serious.
All the time.
The regulation is very serious, and the database managers knows exactly what to do. And we have a legal escort in every step that we are doing.
Yeah? Do you consider, like in China, putting cameras all over the streets, stuff like that?
We have more than 1,000 cameras, but we don't spy after our residents.
So
this is not our purpose.
But you do get pictures of what's happening in the streets real time?
Yes.
You do? And are they aware of that, people on the street?
Yeah, I think so. The cameras, you can see it all over in the streets, but we don't collect data about the residents, and we do it very carefully. The technology that we insert to the city, we do it very carefully.
Perry, are we naive? I mean, privacy is gone already, come on.
Privacy, I think that the majority of people don't really understand what privacy is about. I'm not sure I understand what privacy is about, but it's not about the past. Many people say, I have nothing to hide, so my privacy is not in danger. But privacy is about the future. It's about getting into your mind, understanding what it is that you're thinking, and what it is that you're going to do next.
So I want to toss it up to you, Oren. Is privacy at all a concern of people and companies these days, or we just, gave up?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. It's, I think all the issue of privacy got a real push from the GDPR, which is the European standard, and I intentionally talk about it because they also impose a lot of penalties on companies that will, reject the privacy rules and all the privacy process. And this is the first time in history that kind of regulation that really imposed very high penalties on companies. So companies must take it really seriously into consideration when they do the design. Usually companies would like to be kind of comply with the GDPR. There's not an official compliance with the GDPR, but it's a process that you say, okay, I went through all these things and I'm now compliant with the GDPR.
All right, let's hope and pray for our privacy. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is it for Smart Cities. See you soon in the next segment.